Hello guys, this is Yakov Fain, and today I want to show you a quick video how to get started with Angular development. In particular, I'll show you how to generate a new project and build a bundle with Angular CLI. I am using the latest version of Angular CLI, which is at the time of this recording 1.0 beta 31. Let's see if I have it installed. Well, let's see what the version do I have. NG version. I do have beta 31. If you have the older version, you may need to install a newer one. How to do that? npm. I assume that you have Node.js installed, which comes with npm. npm I or install. Then you need to do a head Angular/CLI, and you want to install it globally, -G. I have it already, so I will not be running this command. But I want you to know that starting from version 30, beta 30, the command changed a little bit, and you may want to go to my blog, yakovpain.com, and in there I have a recent blog that shows you how to uninstall the older version if you have, and to install a newer one. The point is that it should be at Angular CLI. I have it installed, right? So next, when you will be generating new project, using ng command, ng new in project name in particular. By default, it uses npm manager, so it'll generate a new project, whatever you call it, with a very simple screen. But then it'll run and install all dependency using npm. The thing is that there is a better or faster manager, package manager, an alternative to npm, which is called Yarn. I have it installed again. If I will do yarn version or minus version, don't remember, it tells me that I have the version 0.19.1, pretty stable version, works fast, and I highly recommend you to use it. Starting from, actually let me show you how to install it real quick. npm install yarn, very simple. The rest remains the same. Yarn is using the same package manager, so you'll be able to reuse whatever you have if you've been using npm in the past. The good thing about Angular CLI beta 31 that they allow you now to use Yarn as a default package manager when you generate project, and in particular when you install all dependencies. To say so that you want to use Yarn, you need to run a new command, ng set dash del global package manager manager is equal Yarn. So from now on, whenever you want to generate a new project, it won't use the npm manager, but it'll use Yarn instead. To generate a new project, go to any directory. Let me create a new directory. Make dir test exist, of course. Test1, cd test1, ls, it's empty. Now let's generate a new project. ng new, this is Angular CLI command, and give it a name for the project. For example, hello-CLI. Generation starts. So first it created a project, scaffolding part, generated basic components and configuration files, everything that you need for deployment as well for testing. And now Yarn is running. See, it says installing via Yarn. Yarn is installing all the dependencies. There's tons of dependency, but Yarn works pretty fast. Within 20 seconds this process should be complete. Let's give it a time. It's done. See, pretty fast. Less than 20 seconds, I guess. So the project is ready. Let me see, what do I got? I got a new folder, hello CLI, right? It's right there. So I can go to this folder, hello CLI, ls. We have the files that are required. In particular, there is a folder src, and there is where the initial application files are, like kind of hello world, and there is package JSON there as well that is generated. So node modules is a directory where all dependencies are installed. Let me open the package.json real quick. Package.json and yep, it's open. So that's the one. That's a newly generated project and a newly generated package.json. Please note the dependency, the Angular CLI dependency is right there. And all the packages that are required are also there. Now, the application is ready basically. So what I can run the program. It's ready to go. So if I will do what? ngserve under the hood starts the webpack dev server that builds the bundles in memory. As we speak, it's building the bundles in memory, and it'll serve the application by default on the port localhost 4200. Right? So all these are the bundles that were built. No files are emitted at this point. Everything is happening in memory to make it faster. So what I will do now, I will go to localhost 4200 and I will see the application up and running. Loading, app works. Great. So your first Angular application is ready. Congratulations. Next, let's take a quick look at the network tab. Let me refresh this guy. It loads all these bundles, right? Made 10 requests, but the size is pretty large. 3.2 megabytes were transferred. Why that? Because we are working in the dev mode, and there is no any optimization that was done during this bundling process, right? Who are the big guys? 3 megabytes. See, vendor bundle. Vendor bundle is a big guy. It's all the stuff, all the libraries and Angular itself, everything was bundled over there. Now, your application is pretty small, but actually, let me go back. Let me go back for a second. Where's my cursor? No, not there. Let me go back. So what do you got? 3 megabytes. Oh no, it's not my app. Localhost 4200. Sorry guys. Trying to make it faster, but you see what happens. So 3 megabytes is a vendor bundle, and your main bundle is really small application, which is 6.6 kilobyte. There are polyfills, there are styles, all these are sitting in their bundles. Now, as I said, the bundles were built in memory. Now let me Control C from this server. I don't want to build in memory. I want to create another build. I want to create a build for the build that will actually create bundles as files, because we need to deploy files onto the service, right? Not in memory thing. So to do that, there is a command ngbuild. Ngbuild command will build the bundles, and if you don't do any particular options during this line, ngbuild, it spits out all the files, all the bundles into the directory called dist. Again, dist is a default name which can be changed. Anyway, it's done, it's built. Let's look at the directory structure. Yes, we do have a new directory called dist. cd dist ls minus lh. Let's look at this. What do we got there? We got many files, but our main bundle, our app, is this one, 6.3 kilobytes. This is a source map, right, that is used for debugging in the browser. There are some inline styles for bundling, but the vendor library, Angular with all its dependencies, such as RxJS and the rest, is 2.7 megabytes. The map file for the vendor bundle is 2.9 megabytes. But the important thing is that source maps are not loaded unless you open web dev tools in your browser, for example in Chrome. So don't worry that we are generating source maps. Next, what if I want to build a production build? Let me go back a directory, and what I will do ng build -prod. Again, it's going to rebuild the bundles. Again, it's going to put all the output files in the dist directory. It'll remove everything that was there before, but this time it'll do optimization of the bundles, and in particular it'll do minimization, uglification of the code, and so on. Done. Now let's go back to dist and let's do again ls-lh to see what's in there now. Remember, we used to have large vendor files like under 3 megabytes. The story is different now. First of all, the names are different. For production deployment, every bundle has a hash code added to the name of the file itself. The main bundle is now 12 kilobyte, and look at this, it generates also gzipped version of the file, right? Gzipped version of the file, which is much smaller. Let's look at the vendor bundle, which is right there. Right now it's 351 kilobytes versus 2.7 megabytes, right? And the gzip version of this guy is what, 71K only. So if you will be deploying this application, if you will add up all these files together, I'm talking about gzip files only, the total size will be like under 100 kilobyte, which is not bad for this app. Important. If you want to deploy these files, in particular gzipped files, you need to have a server, some kind of a server that understands that if gzipped files are there in the deploy directory, just take them and serve them to the client, as opposed to gzipping files when they are requested. Very good. What do we need to know? What else do we need to know? When we were running this ng build -prod, it also included so-called AOT step, ahead of time compilation. In general, Angular applications can be built either with just-in-time compilation or with ahead of time compilation. The thing is that Angular has this special compiler called ngc that is required to remove anything specific to Angular in the templates. For example, you may have a directive *ngif, *ng4 in there, things that regular HTML doesn't have, right? So if you will run it through the ahead of time compiler, all these Angular specific things will be removed, and when the application goes to the browser, it has everything that the browser understands: HTML, CSS, and standard JavaScript, nothing else. So if you will not be doing AOT, ahead of time compilation, you'll be working in so-called just-in-time mode or JIT mode. In that case, the application will be loaded and the application bundles will be packaged with the Angular compiler itself, which is an overhead, of course. But what's more important, if the application is pre-compiled with AOT, the initial load time is much faster because the browser doesn't need to invoke this Angular compiler and turn the code into pure JavaScript, right? So AOT is great. In some applications, smaller applications, it may even reduce your size. Why? Because the ngc compiler will not be bundled with your app, will not be travel over the network to your browser. But this is not something that will be happening in a decent sized application. So don't expect the size of the final bundle to be smaller because of AOT, but you will definitely save time on the initial load of the page, 1, 2, 3 seconds, depending on the size of your app. So once again, when I was running the last command, which was ng build prod, AOT compilation is done automatically for you. There could be a reason that you may not want to do AOT. Why this may be the case? Why? This may be in case when you are using some third-party JavaScript library that have problems with AOT compilations at this point, so you can't simply build it with AOT. So in that case, you would be adding the keyword AOT = false. In this case, you are still having the optimized bundle, but no AOT. So ngc compiler will be included with the bundle. The sizes will be larger, but this may be your only option if you need to integrate with some third-party libraries. So it's almost done. When it's finished, I'll show you the sizes. I will compare the sizes. Done. Now remember that with AOT we had 351 for the vendor, gzipped 71K, and accordingly we had the main bundle was 12K and gzipped 2.8K. Now let's look at the ls dist. I counted of the dist directory now. Sorry. It should be ls dist minus lh. What happened? Where are we? Oh, we are already in the dist directory. Sorry. ls minus l. Nothing there, because I was running this in gbuild prod in the wrong directory. Let me go one level up. Yes, this is right. And gbuild AOT false. Sorry, I had to rerun it. But we remember, right, that the vendor bundle was 360 something, and the gzip version was what, 72K, right? ls dist minus lh. Doesn't show me the sizes this time. And let me go to dist as minus lh. Alright, so remember we had this 370 or something for the no, we had 370 for the vendor bundle. Now we have 771K, larger, because it comes with the NGC compiler. The gzip version is larger. Speaking of main is smaller because it was not compiled yet, and the NGC usually generates a bit more code, right? So NGC is smaller. So regardless of how you decide to compile it, you need to know that you have different options. Minus prod will optimize. Minus prod includes AOT precompilations, and minus prod minus AOT equal false will not include AOT compilation. So where are we now? We are in dist. Let me go back. ls. This the final note. I want to show you how quickly Yarn works. The Yarn package manager. The node modules is a pretty large directory when all the dependencies are installed for Angular CLI generated project, right? So let's say we want to we got this project from somewhere else. In the source code repository, obviously we will not be submitting the node modules, right? Node modules. Let's get rid of it. I'll get rid of it first. See, there is no more this node modules. Now I say I'm a different developer and I want to reinstall the project. I checked it out from the source code repository, right? So to reinstall it with Yarn, you just said you say Yarn, and Yarn will find the package JSON in your directory, and it'll reinstall whatever was prescribed there. Prescribed where? Important question. Let me wait till it's finished and then I'll explain. It'll take a couple of more seconds, and at some point it'll do the installation in parallel, which npm doesn't support. It is caching everything that it's installed. See, now it runs in parallel. Done. So it's very slow. Usually I have like 18 seconds, but it's done in 28 seconds, which is not bad at all. But what is important, what I wanted to show you, that there is a special file. Yarn creates a special file, yarn.log. Yarn.log. That file remembers exact versions that were installed. The thing is that if you will go to package.json, you see that you may be specifying the versions that you need using all these SEM version, semantic versioning conventions. For example, this little caret tells me that it's okay to install the minor version 2.4.0, or if there is 2.5, install it, 2.6, install it, and so on. But which one was installed now, today, as I record this video? Whatever was installed now is stored in the yarn.log. So it has exact snapshot of the build that I made today. You need to check in to your source code repository, this file, yarn.log, to make sure that you have consistent builds across the team. If somebody else will take this project with yarn log and run the command yarn, it'll install exactly the versions that that are saved from whoever checked in this code. If you don't want it, delete it, it's fine. But the point is, yarn is your friend. It installs stuff really nicely and much faster than npm. That's all I wanted to show you today. I hope you enjoyed this short video. Good luck with your Angular 2 development.